A sliver of morning light cut through the blinds, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air. One moment, Leo was reeling from a punch in a noisy high school hallway. The next, a dizzying vertigo plunged him into silence and the unfamiliar feel of high thread count sheets against his bare skin. The bed was not empty. A man's arm was thrown possessively across his waist, a dead weight of muscle and warmth. A wave of cold dread washed over Leo as he felt the steady rhythm of another person's breathing against his back. The man behind him stirred, letting out a low groan. He shifted, pulling Leo closer until their bodies were flush. A chin, rough with stubble, nuzzled against his shoulder, and a voice, gravelly with sleep but unexpectedly pleasant, murmured directly into his ear. He said it was still early and they should sleep a little longer, calling him babe. The familiarity of the endearment sent a jolt through Leo, but it was the voice itself that made his blood run cold. It was a sound he knew, a sound he despised. With a surge of adrenaline, Leo twisted out of the man's grasp. He scrambled to the far edge of the king-sized bed, his heart hammering against his ribs. He finally got a clear look at the man's face, now unobscured in the dim light. A wave of nausea hit him. It was Ethan. Older, yes, the boyish planes of his face sharpened into the hard angles of a man, with fine lines crinkling at the corners of his eyes, but it was unmistakably him. His mortal enemy. The recognition was instant and absolute. He would know that face anywhere. The sting of Ethan's fist on his cheek for moments? Or was it years ago felt fresh? That memory, coupled with the current, inexplicable intimacy, ignited a firestorm of rage in his chest. Leo ripped the duvet away and, without a second thought, swung his fist, connecting squarely with Ethan's jaw. He yelled for Ethan to get up. Startled from a deep sleep, Ethan's eyes snapped open, a flash of raw aggression in them that vanished the instant he focused on Leo. The anger was replaced by a weary confusion. He asked what he had done this time to make Leo mad. Leo's teeth were gritted so hard his jaw ached. He spat out that Ethan was a shameless pig, demanding to know who he thought he was calling babe. He was a guy, for God's sake. Ethan, still shaking off the remnants of sleep, seemed to miss the point entirely. He smirked, a lazy, infuriating expression, and had the audacity to lean closer. He promised that next time he'd stop when Leo told him to, adding that Leo seemed to enjoy it just as much. His hand casually found Leo's waist, his thumb tracing slow circles on his skin. The touch was electric, sending a confusing tremor through Leo. He shoved Ethan away with all his might, clutching the discarded duvet to his chest like a shield. Ethan tumbled back onto the pillows, unbothered, his eyes tracking Leo with an intensity that felt predatory. It was the look of a wolf watching its cornered prey. A prickle of genuine fear ran down Leo's spine. He tried to sound brave, Ethan to cut out the elaborate prank. He said he wouldn't tell Mr. Davison about this one, but if it happened again, he would. The playfulness in Ethan's eyes finally evaporated, replaced by a sharp, focused scrutiny. He repeated the name Mr. Davison, and the word prank, his brow furrowed. Then, a slow, dawning comprehension spread across his face. He understood now it was a game. He wondered aloud what scenario Leo was playing this time. High school? Ethan's face lit up with excitement, and he lunged forward like an overgrown puppy, pinning Leo's shoulders to the mattress and burying his face in the crook of Leo's neck. The attack was too swift. Leo flailed uselessly as Ethan pressed him down, a genuine panic seizing him. This felt too real. Ethan lifted his head slightly, a low chuckle rumbling in his chest. before his mouth descended on Leo's, a firm, non-negotiable kiss that stole the air from his lungs. It was over. His life was over. Ethan pulled back at the sound of a choked sob. He asked why Leo was crying. Leo furiously denied it, only to realize that hot tears were, in fact, streaming down his face. He scrubbed at his lips with the back of his hand, the sobs now escaping uncontrollably. Through his tears, he pleaded with Ethan, promising he would never fight with him again if he just stopped kissing him. A deep line appeared between Ethan's brows, his expression a rare picture of utter bafflement. He ran a hand through his already messy hair, a gesture of deep frustration, before getting up and striding into what looked like a walk-in closet. He returned a moment later, fully dressed in jeans and a Henley, and tossed a set of clothes onto the nightstand. He told Leo to get dressed and come out, his voice flat, before leaving the room. Leo dressed slowly, his mind a chaotic whirl. No prank would be this elaborate. The mature face Ethan wore hadn't been an illusion of makeup. He had felt the rough texture of his stubble. That left only one insane possibility, the kind of plot twist from the sci-fi novels he secretly read: time travel. He went into the attached bathroom, a sleek space of marble and chrome, and splashed cold water on his face. The reflection that stared back was his own, yet not. It was older, more defined. His gaze fell on the dark, purplish marks blooming on his neck. A hot blush crept up his cheeks. He hurried out of the bedroom. The living room was empty. It was part of a large, open-plan apartment with floor-to-ceiling windows offering a stunning view of the Chicago skyline. The space was tastefully decorated in a minimalist style, foreign and intimidating. He heard a noise from the kitchen and saw Ethan's broad back as he moved between the stove and the counter. Unsure of what to do, Leo perched stiffly on the edge of a leather sofa. A sharp rap on the polished surface of a dining island made him jump. Ethan gestured with his head. Time to eat. They ate in a heavy silence, the only sounds the clinking of forks against plates of scrambled eggs and bacon. Ethan finished first and moved away to make a phone call. His back turned, but his voice low and audible. Leo tried not to listen but caught a distinct phrase about him waking up confused, claiming to be a minor. A hot flush of humiliation washed over Leo. He wasn't confused. Ethan was. After hanging up, Ethan returned, his expression serious. He stopped a few feet away, seemingly sensing Leo's apprehension. He stated that they needed to talk. Tapping a finger on the quartz countertop, he began his interrogation in a calm, measured tone. He first asked what year Leo thought it was. Leo's answer was quiet but firm: 2014. Ethan's face remained impassive. Next question. What was their relationship? Rivals, Leo blurted out without thinking. Ethan muttered under his breath, wondering if he'd really scrambled Leo's brain the night before. Though the words were quiet, their implication was clear, and Leo's ears burned. Ethan was silent for a long moment, studying him. Finally, Leo couldn't take it anymore and asked if Ethan could just send him back. He had a midterm today. Ethan's gaze was strange, a mixture of pity and concern. He suggested gently that maybe he should take Leo to see a doctor, a specialist. Leo shot back that Ethan was the one who needed a shrink. He insisted he wasn't his babe, he was from 2014. Words tumbled out of him, a torrent of frustration and fear. He accused Ethan of punching him into the future, calling him a petty jerk for retaliating just because Leo saw him writing a love letter. It hadn't always been like this. They met freshman year of high school. Leo had passed out from heatstroke during PE, and Ethan had carried him to the nurse's office. After that, they were inseparable. Leo had always been slender and of average height, while Ethan was the star athlete, tall and effortlessly handsome. He was everything Leo envied. And for some reason, Ethan had singled him out. He insisted on being Leo's lab partner, ate the vegetables Leo picked off his tray at lunch, and always shared his snacks. This singular, focused affection felt special, and it was probably inevitable that Leo fell for him. Realizing he was in love with his male best friend was a brief, dizzying shock, quickly followed by a quiet acceptance. But once the feeling was acknowledged, everything changed. Every casual touch from Ethan felt charged. Every shared glance held a hidden meaning. The intimacy that had once been a comfort became a kind of sweet torture. Leo began to pull away, afraid Ethan would discover his secret and be repulsed. But Ethan, oblivious, only pursued him more, even trying to crawl into his bunk in the dorms on a warm autumn night, claiming he was cold. The turmoil soon affected his grades. He'd find himself staring at the side of Ethan's face in class or scribbling his name in the margins of his notebooks. Ethan noticed his distraction and worried he was sick. This kindness only made it worse. A war raged inside Leo. One voice told him Ethan was straight and just a good friend. Another argued that Ethan's unique devotion had to mean something more. He decided to confess. The opportunity came at the winter formal. Ethan, looking impossibly elegant in a rented tux, played a violin solo on stage. Afterward, Leo went to find him backstage, a clumsily written confession letter clutched in his sweaty palm. The door was ajar, and he heard a nervous voice telling Ethan he really liked him. Someone had beaten him to it. As he moved to push the door open, Ethan's voice, cold and sharp, stopped him dead. He asked why he should be obligated to like someone just because they liked him. The other boy, his voice trembling, pointed out that Leo liked him too. Ethan's reply was a knife to the heart. He said that guys like them were disgusting, that Leo was his brother, and that people shouldn't project their own twisted feelings onto others. He told the boy to get lost. Leo stumbled away from the door, the letter feeling like a block of ice in his hand. That night, a rare, gentle snow began to fall, the flakes melting on his hot cheeks. Later, his phone buzzed with a text from Ethan, asking where he was. How could he explain? He was the very thing Ethan found disgusting. After the winter break, Leo avoided Ethan's calls and texts, using final exams as an excuse. On New Year's Eve, Ethan cornered him under a streetlight. He demanded to know why Leo was ignoring him. Leo, unable to look him in the eye, mumbled the most ridiculous thing he could think of. He couldn't be friends with someone who put beans in their chili. There was a stunned silence. Then Ethan let out a short, incredulous laugh. That was the reason. Leo doubled down, insisting their chili preferences were irreconcilable. Ethan stared at him for a long time before turning away. Fine, Leo. Have it your way, he'd said, his voice flat. And just like that, they became the most famous rivals at Northwood High. Back in the present, Ethan stared at him, his expression unreadable. He finally said they weren't going to the hospital, but he was taking Leo somewhere else. He explained that it was their friend Mike's birthday, and they had plans to celebrate. Leo weakly asked if he could stay home. Ethan agreed easily, but then added that he would have to tell Mike that Leo's mind was broken, and knowing Mike, he'd immediately start calling every neurologist in the state. Defeated, Leo agreed to go. On the drive, Leo kept stealing glances at Ethan. So this is what he looked like in 10 years. And somehow, impossibly, they were together. Mike was a loud, cheerful man who immediately tried to pull Leo into a bear hug. An arm shot out from behind Leo, blocking him. Ethan's voice was light, but his eyes were not. He reminded Mike that he was right there, and that he didn't appreciate other men hugging his partner in front of him. Mike threw his hands up in mock surrender, lamenting that the happy couple had forgotten their matchmaker. The restaurant booth was blessedly empty besides the three of them. Mike, noticing Leo's silence, asked if they'd had a fight. Leo quickly assured him they hadn't, just that he hadn't slept well. Throughout dinner, Mike and Ethan reminisced about their college days at Northwestern. Leo learned they had all been roommates. He picked at his food, listening intently. As Mike got drunker, his words became slurred. He started teasing Ethan, sloshing his beer as he recalled how Ethan had stubbornly denied his feelings for Leo, right up until the moment Leo got into trouble. Then, he'd run off like a maniac and nearly gotten himself killed. Leo's ears perked up, but just as he was about to ask for details, Mike's head thudded onto the table, out cold. Leo looked up and met Ethan's knowing, slightly amused gaze. He asked if Leo wanted to know. Leo nodded. Ethan just smirked and said he could keep wondering. He got up to pay the bill, leaving Leo with the snoring Mike. Leo gently shook Mike's shoulder, asking what had happened to him and what Ethan had done. Mumbling, Mike explained that Leo had been on a geology field trip with a professor when a flash flood caused a mudslide. Ethan had heard the news and driven into the storm to find him, ignoring all official S. A complicated emotion churned in Leo's gut, a pang of jealousy for this other Leo, the one Ethan would risk his life for. By the time Ethan returned, Leo felt inexplicably guilty, though for what, he couldn't say. They called a car service to take them and the semi-conscious Mike home. In the back seat, Ethan leaned his head against the window, massaging his temples, looking pale and unwell. Back at the apartment, Ethan collapsed onto the sofa and closed his eyes. Leo hesitated, then knelt beside him and gently poked his cheek. No response. Ethan's brow was furrowed in his drunken sleep. Leo's fingers ghosted over his face, smoothing the crease between his eyebrows, tracing the strong line of his nose, and coming to rest on his lips. He leaned in close and whispered a question to the sleeping man, asking if he loved Leo. A soft, slurred word escaped Ethan's lips. Love. Leo's heart leaped. He pressed closer, asking again, Love who? The answer came clearer this time. Leo. Love. Leo. And then, another whispered confession. He'd loved him at 17 too. A radiant smile bloomed on Leo's face. Watching the man sleeping so peacefully, he acted on an impulse he'd suppressed for a decade. He leaned in and pressed a soft kiss to the corner of Ethan's mouth. The second his lips made contact, Ethan's eyes flew open, wide and lucid. Leo yelped in shock and scrambled backward, but his legs, numb from kneeling, gave out from under him. He fell forward, his full weight landing on Ethan with a grunt. There was a soft oof and then silence. Ethan was motionless. Panicked, Leo pushed himself up. Had he knocked him out? Whatever the case, he was relieved. With considerable effort, he managed to drag the much larger man into the bedroom, clean his face with a damp cloth, and pull a blanket over him. Exhausted and sweaty, Leo took a quick shower and resigned himself to sleeping on the couch. The massive apartment, it turned out, only had one bed. The next morning, he cautiously asked Ethan if he remembered anything from the night before. Ethan looked at him with a blank expression, asking if something had happened. Leo quickly said no, relieved that his secret was safe. He spent the next few days trying various methods to get back to his own time, all of which failed spectacularly. He wasn't sure if Ethan believed his time travel story, but he suspected he didn't. Still, he felt a strange sense of security. Whatever else he was, he knew Ethan, this Ethan or his Ethan, would never truly hurt him. One afternoon, Ethan announced he was taking him somewhere. Leo didn't bother asking where, just put on his shoes. These memory-jogging trips had become a regular occurrence. They drove to the Evanston campus of Northwestern University. Standing under the iconic archway, Leo felt a profound sense of temporal dislocation. Ethan, in his stylish jacket and confident stride, looked so much older than the students milling around them. He really was an old man. Ethan caught his look and raised an eyebrow, asking what was on his mind. Leo mumbled something about being impressed. Ethan playfully accused him of silently calling him old. When Leo didn't deny it, Ethan laughed, reminding him that by this timeline's logic, Leo was also pushing 30. A wave of melancholy washed over Leo. Just yesterday, he was a teenager. The afternoon sun filtered through the autumn leaves, dappling Ethan's face in golden light. As he laughed, Leo felt an unfamiliar warmth spread through his chest. He looked beautiful. Annoyed by the thought and by the admiring glances Ethan was getting from passers-by, Leo huffed and started walking away. Ethan caught up, his face suddenly just inches from Leo's, his warm breath on his cheek. He asked if Leo was jealous. Leo shoved him away, denying it hotly, and quickened his pace. Behind him, he heard Ethan's low, satisfied chuckle. They spent the day acting like a normal college couple. They ate at a campus diner, sat together in an empty lecture hall, and walked hand in hand along the lakefront as the sun set. It was simple and it was perfect. Later, driving back to the city, the smile still hadn't left Leo's face. Ethan broke the comfortable silence, admitting that they had never actually done any of those things when they were students. Leo was surprised. Ethan explained that for the first 3 years of college, Leo had actively avoided him. Annoyed and hurt, Ethan had refused to chase him and had even done something incredibly stupid to try and get his attention. When Leo pressed for details, Ethan just smirked and said he'd never tell. Leo turned to stare out the window, feigning annoyance. After a few minutes of silence, Ethan spoke again, his voice softer. He said that today had been a really good day, a way to make up for the dates they never had. Leo didn't turn around, but the reflection in the window showed the smile returning to his face. The campus visit marked a shift. Their outings felt less like therapy and more like actual dates. Leo found himself falling into the rhythm of this life, even beginning to wonder if there was no time travel at all, just a 10-year case of amnesia. They were a couple. They held hands, they kissed, and slowly, Leo started to feel that the missing decade didn't matter as much as the man sitting beside him. But the universe had other plans. One day, Leo went to Ethan's downtown architecture firm to drop off a file he'd left at home. As he was leaving, a man stopped him. He was handsome in a quiet, bookish way with a gentle smile. He greeted Leo by name and asked if they could talk. The man's name was Alex. While he seemed perfectly pleasant, something about him set Leo on edge. Leo, assuming he was an old college friend, readily agreed, hoping he might finally get the story about Ethan's stupid act. In the coffee shop downstairs, Alex remarked how he never thought Leo and Ethan would end up together. When Leo asked why, Alex explained that Leo used to despise Ethan, avoiding him at all costs. Seeing Leo's confused expression, Alex's face softened with pity. Leo explained his recent accident and memory loss. Alex then introduced himself as Ethan's old roommate. He proceeded to paint a picture of a very different Ethan, a man who was kind and caring, who looked after his injured roommate, bringing him meals and helping him around the dorm. The roommate, Leo inferred, was Alex himself. Then, Alex let it slip. He was talking about something they did back when Ethan and I were together. He stopped, feigning embarrassment, and told Leo to forget he said anything. The unease Leo felt coalesced into a cold, hard knot in his stomach. He pressed Alex, demanding to know what he meant. Alex's gentle mask slipped for a fraction of a second, revealing a flash of triumph in his eyes. He said Leo shouldn't mind, should he? Mind what? Leo asked, his voice dangerously low. Mind that I was Ethan's first love? Alex replied, his smile laced with poison. Leo stood up, his coffee untouched, and walked out. Back at the apartment, he sat on the sofa in a daze. He couldn't breathe. Ethan had told him he'd only ever loved him. But high school Ethan had been disgusted by the idea of being with a guy. It made a sick kind of sense that someone else had been there first, someone who wasn't Leo. Driven by a desperate need for proof, he went into Ethan's home office. He'd never been forbidden from the room. On the bottom shelf of a large bookcase, he found a collection of old college textbooks. Tucked inside a thick architecture volume was a photograph. It was a younger Ethan and Alex, their heads close together, smiling at the camera with the university quad in the background. The affection between them was undeniable. The photo felt as heavy as a tombstone in his hand. He was still staring at it when he heard the front door open. Ethan called his name, his voice cheerful, as he walked into the office. He stopped short when he saw the photo in Leo's hand. Panic flickered across his face. Leo slowly lifted his gaze, his eyes dry and burning. In a dead calm voice, he asked who it was. Ethan's face went pale. He admitted it was his ex-boyfriend. Liar, Leo whispered, the single word holding a decade of pain. You lied to me. All the strength drained from his body. He told Ethan he wanted to go home, pushing past him. Ethan grabbed his arm, his grip desperate. This is your home, he pleaded. Leo shook his head, tears finally starting to fall. He wasn't the 27-year-old Leo. This wasn't his home. Ethan pulled him into a tight embrace, refusing to let go. He explained frantically that it was fake, that Alex had been his roommate but never his boyfriend. The relationship was a sham, a stupid, ill-conceived plan Alex had cooked up to make Leo jealous. The photo was staged. He'd forgotten it was even there. He begged Leo to believe him, his voice cracking. He confessed this was the stupid thing he'd done, his face a mask of self-loathing. Wiping the tears from Leo's cheeks, he swore that whether he was 17 or 27, Leo was the only one he had ever loved. Through his tears, Leo asked why Alex was still working at his company. The genuine confusion on Ethan's face was all the answer he needed. He truly hadn't known. Leo recounted his meeting with Alex, repeating the stories he'd been told. Ethan's jaw tightened in anger. He pulled out his phone, promising to call his HR department and have Alex fired immediately, with a generous severance to avoid any legal trouble, but he was done. He buried his head in Leo's shoulder, like a large dog seeking comfort, and begged him not to be sad anymore. Leo finally relented, melting into the hug and burying his face in Ethan's chest. The emotional turmoil of the afternoon took its toll. That evening, Leo came down with a fever. He drifted in and out of consciousness, vaguely aware of Ethan's worried voice calling his name. He found himself in a vast white space. A familiar voice spoke from behind him, and he turned to see a man who looked exactly like him, only older and more self-assured. It was his 27-year-old self. The older Leo explained that this was a dream space, and that the time travel was likely the result of a wish he had made to go back and fix things. He told his younger self the truth. At the winter formal, Ethan's harsh words weren't about homophobia. The other boy had been stalking him for weeks, and Ethan's anger was born of fear and frustration. And the love letter? It was never meant for a girl. It was for Leo. He'd been trying to write it when Leo saw him. Misunderstanding and fear had cost them years. His older self told him it was time to go back and fix their shared past. He awoke to the sight of Ethan, unshaven and exhausted, asleep in a chair beside the bed, his hand clutching Leo's. "Idiot," Leo whispered, poking his cheek. As if from a dream, a decade of memories flooded back into his mind, slotting perfectly into place. He remembered everything. Ethan's hand tightened on his. "I heard that," he mumbled, his eyes still closed. A slow smile spread across Leo's face. He said Ethan had gotten ugly. Ethan opened his eyes, the weariness in them replaced by the familiar, loving smile. He replied that he cleaned up well enough to make Leo proud. The morning sun streamed through the window, bathing the room in a golden glow. Leo's eyes fluttered open. The concerned face of Mr. Davison, their balding history teacher, hovered over him. He was back in the high school nurse's office. He had a midterm today. Mr. Davison was lecturing a stiff, silent, 17-year-old Ethan, who stood by the door. He ordered Ethan to apologize. Ethan mumbled an apology, his jaw tight. Knowing now what lay beneath that cold exterior, Leo saw the guilt and worry in his eyes. Mr. Davison wasn't satisfied with the reluctant apology. But before he could continue his tirade, Leo interrupted. He told the teacher it wasn't Ethan's fault. He just skipped breakfast and his blood sugar had crashed. Mr. Davison looked from one to the other, confused by this sudden display of unity between the school's biggest rivals. Leo insisted Ethan had only been trying to catch him as he fell. Ethan's eyes widened slightly in surprise. Leo told his teacher to go on, that Ethan could stay and look after him. The moment the door closed, Ethan turned to leave. "Wait," Leo called out. "You knocked me out. You're responsible for me now." Ethan turned back, an incredulous look on his face. Leo just smiled sweetly and said he was thirsty. After a silent standoff, Ethan sighed and got him a cup of water. As he turned to leave again, Leo called his name, his voice soft. "Are you just going to ignore me forever?" He let his voice tremble, his eyes welling up with fake tears. It worked. Ethan froze, his hand on the doorknob. He said, his voice low, that Leo was the one who had ignored him first. Leo asked if he wanted to know why. Ethan said he didn't, but he didn't move. Leo took a deep breath. He told him everything about being backstage at the formal, about hearing what he said, about being terrified that Ethan would hate him if he knew how he really felt. Ethan was silent for a long time. Then he finally spoke. He admitted he was a hypocrite. He said he found obsessive people creepy, but if it was Leo, he would have been happy. A slow, brilliant smile spread across Leo's face. He held out his pinky finger. "So, are we good now?" Ethan looked at the offered finger, and a corner of his own mouth lifted in a small smile. Their fingers linked. Outside the window, the sun was bright. They had their whole lives ahead of them.